Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Peter and you're watching Deaf Gowan Camping. I'm just cruising along here, driving back to San Leandro from Sacramento. I had a couple of things to do, back home, that's where I'm from. Had to do a little running around, get a couple of things done there while I'm staying in San Leandro with my wife Katie as she's continuing to heal and recover from a really bad episode. Probably talked about it too much on the channel anyway, but I'm cruising home. Got bored, got nobody to talk to. So I thought I'd talk to you guys. So I guess we're back to story time with Pete. When I was in school in junior high, one of my favorite teachers was my shop teacher, and he was also a science teacher. I learned a lot from the guy. A lot I already knew from working with my grandpa. But he wasn't only a good teacher, as in, actually teaching students how to work with wood or teaching students about science rather than telling them how to work with wood and telling them about science. He would actually teach to where you would understand. And his method was really hands-on, and that's really one of the best ways I learn how to do things is by actually doing it. You can tell somebody how to do something a million times, and if they've never actually done it and applied what you're trying to teach them, they're never going to retain that information. Well, at least for me, it's something that I'm not going to retain if I don't actually use the skill that you're teaching me. But he was a really cool character too, and he had a really strange voice. I'm gonna try to impersonate it. It kind of sounded like Yoda. But he would start every class with a story. So to try to get points across, but they had to be fake. But anyway, I was already kind of aware of him. And his stories and how he talked from my older brother and sister taking his classes before I did. So the first day of school in his shop class, all right, he calls everybody out to sit down and introduces himself. Hello, class. I'm Roy Holler. I'll be your teacher for the year. And he kind of spoke like that. So he would tell his stories that were just outlandish, but they were entertaining. He had a lot of mantras that he would say all the time. But every day would start class with a story, and I remember a few of them. It will go something like this. I had a friend who was working on a table saw. He was pushing a piece of wood through the table saw without using a guide. So as he pushed the table, or the wood through the table saw, cut off his thumb. It grabbed his thumb, took it through the motor, and shot it back up, and poked out his eye, because he wasn't wearing safety goggles. Always remember to use your push guide and wear your safety goggles. I mean, just outlandish shit. Another one was, I had a friend that worked on a farm with heavy machinery. So he tells us the story how his friend went over, I think it was a corn picker, a hay baler, or whatever machinery it was, got something stuck in the intake for whatever it was. So he said to his friend, I would really love to meet his friends, because it would be a whole big group of gimpy motherfuckers. Sorry, I swore a little bit too much, yeah. But so his friend saw that there was something caught in the machine, so without turning the machine off, he stuck his arm in there, and it grabbed a hold of his arm, started pulling him in. So to get his arm out, he stuck his other arm in to try to free his other arm. And it grabbed that arm, started pulling him in. And then to free himself, his arms, he decided to put his leg in and try to pry his body out. And it ended up taking off both of his arms and his leg. I mean, every day, a different story. So, I mean, this guy's friends, I'd love to be at one of their get-togethers, man. See a whole bunch of blind, deaf, limbless, fingerless, legless, told us another story. A guy using a chainsaw cutting wood, but he was too lazy to get a set of sawhorses to cut it, and he just propped it on his leg. Ended up cutting his own leg off. Another guy had a tree fall on him, and the only way for him to free himself before he was eaten by the creatures of the night was to cut his own arm off using the can of a tomato soup lid. Or tomato soup can lid. Great stories, good guy. He gave us a project one year, and it was to make a wood jewelry box. Gave out the instructions. You're kind of free to make it, as long as it's the dimensions, you're pretty much free to make it whatever shape you want, or decorate it how you want, engrave it or wood burn it, or, do whatever, whatever you want. But I liked his example, so I made one exactly like his. I mean, it looked like his exactly. Same color stain, same wood, same grain length, same color felt on the interior, same pitch on the lid, exactly the same. Shop classes and stuff like that were really my best classes. Not that I'm stupid, but the other classes I just really didn't apply myself, because I felt like school was a waste of my time. But I did enjoy the shop classes, so I did apply myself in those and participated, trying to get the best grade that I could. So I spent a whole lot of years in shop classes. But anyway, when it was time for to turn in the project and to grade it, his box went missing somewhere and accused me of stealing it, which was kind of hurtful, to be honest with you. I'm not a thief, and to steal your teacher's woodwork to turn it in as your own, I mean, you'd have to be a freaking idiot to do something like that. But yeah, it is what it is. He sent me to the office. I denied it emphatically the entire time, but still got suspended initially. 3-day suspension. They said because I was getting 3 days instead of 1 is because I wouldn't admit it. I'm not going to admit to something I didn't do, so yeah, give me 3 days. I don't care. Once you make it a week, man, I don't care. Honestly, I hated school with a passion. By the end of the year, every year I'd always have like 1 day left before it's required for expulsion. So like the last couple of weeks I was just a perfect angel. But yeah, initially I got suspended, went home and told my mom about it and everything. Well, that evening, Mr. Hawley actually called my mom and apologized and said that he forgot that he didn't bring it into class and that he had it at home. And when he got home, he realized what a mistake he had made and that he would get everything cleared up. So that was pretty stand-up of him. He could have just pretended like it didn't happen, and you know, I probably would have remained very resentful at him because I knew that I didn't steal it. Maybe somebody else did. I didn't know. I didn't do it. But anyway, I had him for both 7th and 8th grade for wood shop. I made a awesome skimboard in there. He worked with me a lot on it to get the plywood to concave and everything. Lined it with fiberglass, put all the lacquer on it. The thing was, I pat myself on the back. It was pretty sick. I got a lot of compliments on it. You know, put some stickers underneath the lacquer. It lasted for years. I ended up turning it into a rope skim on the American River, and just left it in the river. The bottom side of it was green. So if you threw it out in the water upside down, the concave, the water would just push it right down to the bottom. And me and my friends would go out there all the time, use the rope skim. And that's actually illegal in Sacramento, which is why I hit it. Probably rude to eat on camera, I'm sorry. Which is why I hit it. Rope skim is the same principle as water skiing, but it's the force of the water that makes you be able to float and go across. But a few people have been seriously injured and even decapitated by doing it.
Move to the left in 1 mile.
So it's illegal. What guys would do is they would sink down underneath the level of the water, and you hold your breath, obviously, and they would be underwater and watch for a raft to come.
Please
and come popping up next to them and scare them.
West toward
but the
San
tension on the
Francisco.
line is so strong. If you pop up and you cross the boat, it's going to hurt somebody. So a couple of people got decapitated by it. Several seriously injured. I never messed around with people like that, but I did enjoy rope skimming
Now,
quite a bit.
keep left.
So in the 8th grade, I had them for science class, and in that class, he did the same thing. Telling stories of maimed friends, but in a science way. Like never add water to bleach because the bleach will splash. Get in your eyes and you're gonna go blind. Stuff like that. So you add bleach to water, but you don't add water to bleach. All sorts of stuff. One year we were going over, simple machines and leverage. So like cantilevers, pulleys, just small machines. They are machines, but they're just small. Doorknob. That is a machine. So, going over all stuff like that. And one day we were going over pulleys and how the direction of the rope and the direction of the pull versus the direction of the carry. And so we had a pulley system set up in the classroom. And he asked for volunteers. One of the larger guys or stronger guys in the class, and one of the smallest, more petite females in the class. One to be on the pull side, one to be on the drag side. This had nothing to do with me, okay? I did not do this on purpose. Had nothing to do with me. But he switched the lines. He had them run the wrong way or labeled the wrong way or whatever. So it was basically like a tug of war. See if this little girl can drag me across the classroom with a pulley, just using, simple physics. So we both go up there, we both grab it into the rope, and it says on the count of 3, I want you both to pull as hard as you can. So 1, 2, 3, and I pulled on it as hard as I could, fully expecting for me to move in the opposite direction. That's not what happened. I pulled it as hard as I could, and that poor little girl, I won't say her last name, but her name was Kelly. She was a friend of mine. I grew up with her from like kindergarten all the way through high school. She was a sweetheart. I would never hurt her on purpose. But she went flying, ended up smacking her face into the countertop thing where they had all the Bunsen burners and stuff like that. Busted her face all up. Everybody in the class, it was a shitty. It's just kind of how my life goes. It was shit. Everybody in the class was thinking that I did that on purpose, but it had absolutely nothing to do with me. Again, I got sent to the office, and sometimes even when something happens like that, it goes around school. Hey, did you hear that Peter Gowan, yanked on the girl and threw her across the classroom? You know how things change. So, just by word of mouth, I'm a dickhead for making this girl fly across the classroom, and everybody at school thinks I did it on purpose, and there's no stopping that. Well, initially, people hear something. I'm sure it happens to you in your daily life. I mean, people gossip and spread shit. But yeah, another one of those wonderful trips to principal's office. And this guy, I have absolutely no problem saying his name, Mr. David Cowles, you son of a bitch. This guy was an asshole. He decided, let's go ahead and give him 5 days. Yeah, 0 tolerance and whatnot. So it was basically the same thing that happened before, except it actually happened while I was still in the principal's office. No, actually, they gave me 5 days, and the rest of the day I had to be in on-site suspension. Sorry, I know I'm eating again, but I've been driving all day and I'm hungry. Well, with all the commotion and everything, for the next class, Mr. Hawley realized that he had the ropes going the wrong direction. And, set it straight with the office. So I got, go a little fast. I'm just passing the highway patrol. Slow down and get it. Oh, car there. So I got out of class, but everybody, is already looking at me funny until I started telling everybody what happened. But still, it was, for a couple of days, you'll be going to it, or somebody come up and, hey man, why'd you do that? That kind of thing. Kelly wasn't mad at me. She knew the truth. So, yeah, pretty cool teacher though. One of the only few that made mistakes and took responsibility for them. That's something that I respect. And that's something that I learned from him was, hey, everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. Everybody does. But when you make a mistake and you know that you made a mistake, or you realize that you made a mistake, the best thing to do is just own it. Hey, I'm sorry. What can I do to make it better? Make it up to you? Or what can I do so I don't make that mistake again? But anyways, it was one of the few cool teachers that I had. I had another shop teacher. I won't say his name. I think it was Mr. Wilcox. I had a love-hate relationship with that guy. He was an excellent teacher and an excellent craftsman, but he's one of those guys that should not be around kids, especially ones like me, the shop class kids, those rugged, no good freaks, whatever. But I had him for several classes over the years. I had him for wood shop, metal shop, crafts and ceramics. Had a pretty good relationship with him for the most part, because I'm good with my hands, and as far as doing the assignments and everything. I'm not going to say that story. But this is another example of why I absolutely hated school. I had him for a class. It was a craft shop. Show a lot of carving, woodworking, staining, smaller craft projects. Not like pictures and glue or anything like that, but it was working with machinery and knives and stuff like that. I was in class one day before class started, sitting up on the workbench, talking to a friend, and I had a scratch awl in my hand, and those are used for a variety of different things, mostly for making marks on wood and metal, but you can use them as a hole punch, a whole bunch of different things, or a center punch. But I was talking to my friend. I was just innocent. I wasn't I wasn't trying to be malicious. I wasn't trying to harm the workbench. I mean, it's a freaking workbench after all. I mean, you got saw blades running across it. You got sanders on. Anyway. I was just sitting up there and I was just tapping it like you would tap your pencil on your desk. I mean, it's subconscious. I don't know what was up his ass or who peed in his fucking Cheerios that morning. But he came over and he didn't say anything. He came over and he grabbed the scratch awl out of my hand and stabbed me in the leg with it 3 times and told me to get off the desk. I'll tell you, I got off that desk really effing quick, man. I cocked back and I was about to knock that. I lose my temper when people touch me. That's just, I can handle all the shit talking you want. I can talk shit right back. But I ain't gonna put my hands on you, so don't put your hands on me. Put your hands on me, you're taking it to a new level. And it's a level you don't want to be playing on, man, because you're not going to be playing on my level. So anyway, I cocked back and I went to swing at him, and my friend hooked my elbow with his elbow just shy of his face. My hand didn't make contact with him, but it came damn close, and it startled him, and he fell backwards and hit his head. Now, everybody in that classroom said that I hit him, and I understand, because it looks like I did. And I've got to say this, even if I would have hit him and he fell down and cracked his head open, I still wouldn't have felt a damn bit bad about it, because I did not deserve that. I got sent to the principal's office, escorted to the principal's office, because I was still irate. I didn't go in to see the vice principal. They sent me straight up to the headmaster, the principal, Dr. Dickhead. And he would not listen to me. He wouldn't listen to a word I have to say. It was just, you are out of this school. You are suspended indefinitely pending an expulsion hearing. Your career at Rio Americano is over. Go home now. All right, I'll go home. I knew they called my mom at work. Kind of standard protocol. And I knew my mom was going to be super pissed. Wasn't the first time I was threatened with expulsion, and it wasn't the last. But I was never wrong in any of the cases, and I never got expelled, so y'all can suck it. So I'm waiting for my mom to come home, and I knew she was going to be pissed. I knew it. I mean, I knew it. And sure as shit, man, I heard the garage door open. I'm sitting on the couch looking down the hallway that looks right where the garage door is, so when she walks inside, the first thing she's going to see is going to be me. So when she walked in the door, I stood up, and she had that look on her face, like, you know that look when your mom about to whoop your ass. She starts walking towards me. Sit your ass down. I didn't say anything. I unbuckled my pants and I dropped my drawers. Take a look. And she went from to, what is that? I tried telling the principal. He wouldn't listen to me. What is that from? That's from Mr. Wilcox. I had 3 holes in my leg. My pants were bloody. And the principal wouldn't listen to me. Well, you think I did that shit to myself? I'm going to stab myself in my leg 3 times and jump off the desk and try to hit the teacher for no reason? My mom flipped. She flipped. She called the principal. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue the school. I'm suing the teacher. I'm suing the school district. I mean, she just went off, and there was all sorts of, oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Cowan. I wasn't aware, Mrs. Cowan. We'll handle this, Mrs. Cowan. Peter will no longer be in that class, Mrs. Cowan. What? So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. I get stabbed with the scratch saw. Granted, it's only about as big as a BB. I've been hurt a lot worse. But still. I get stabbed with the scratch saw, unprovoked. I didn't physically retaliate. And I get kicked out of the classroom, and that man still gets to keep his job when I'm the best student in the class? Does that sound like it's fair? I didn't think so. I think that's bullshit. I still think it's bullshit, and you can see I'm getting a little irritated about it. And that guy kept trying to talk to me for the next couple of years. It's like, man, don't talk to me. I got nothing to say to you, nothing nice. One thing I have to say to you is going to land me in the office again. I saw him years later. I had to go back to back to school. I was picking up my my girlfriend's little sister that was in a after-school program for something or other. So I was out in the quad waiting for her class to be over. And he comes over and he sits down next to me and tries to talk to me. And man, I'm out of school. I don't go to this school anymore. And I don't have to be nice to you. So, in a not so very nice way, I not so politely told him to get away from me. Never come near me and never speak to me ever again. Are we clear? because that was BS. He should have been fired. He should have been fired. There's no reason for... I wonder if he did it to any other kids before or after that. He should have been fired, and that's bullshit. Sorry, I got off on a little tangent. Sitting here looking at San Francisco. I think I'm in Emeryville. Bay Bridge. And then there's the city. And then that's the Golden Gate. So, I guess that'll do it for this story. I'm sorry I ramble on, but I like to talk. I like to tell stories. Kind of one of the reasons why I did this channel. As I start getting into it and doing more camping videos and, you know, product reviews and stuff like that, I'm going to try to incorporate some shorter stories into the videos. It's just because it's a part of who I am. You know, I'm just come from a long line of storytellers, you know, family history, just sitting around a campfire telling stories. So I guess that'll wrap it up for Story Time with Pete. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please click the like button. If you didn't like it, click the like button anyway. Please subscribe. I'm up to, I think, 11 subscribers now. One of them's me, one of them's my mom, and one of them's my daughter. There's 8 other people out there that like me. They really like me. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That'll alert you when I put a new video up. And please comment. You know, if anybody I went to school with that remembers good old Roy, holler. Yeah, maybe you could share one of your stories with me. You know, even if we weren't in the same class together, Mr. Hawley taught at Star King Elementary School in Carmichael until the day he died. He was a great guy. That school lost one of its best teachers when he passed away. I would go back over the years frequently, I mean all the way up into my 20s, stop by and say hi to him. That'll do it. Thanks for watching Def Gallon Camping and the sub-chapter of Story Time with Pete, which you guys are all stuck with for now. I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.